Hey guys, it's me, Brad GJ. Welcome back to another video. And today, if you didn't read the title, we're doing our top 10 Mario games. Now, before we begin, I'm not just doing the main line because I'm in a circumstance where I've played almost every Mario game. And it's available on Switch, Wii U, all the new-ish consoles, if you get my meaning. I haven't played, Yoshi's Island or Mario Bros. 3. Sorry. But, we are also counting the Mario and Luigi RPGs, the, Paper Mario RPGs, also Super Mario RPG that I didn't play, so I'm not gonna be including that in here. I don't know if it'll be on the top for me because I haven't played it. Also, I will be including the carts, the parties, the sports games. I think in all crossovers like Mario and Rabbids and the Mario and Sonic games. And I think that's about it. If I have something on here that is not any of that and I didn't say it, then I'm sorry about that. But, so yeah, I think, and Luigi's Mansion series as well will be included in here. But I do think that before I begin, I need to say that this is highly my opinion, so there are probably some things that you're not going to agree with on here. And if you don't agree with where I put the game, feel free to put in the comments below where you would put the games. Just don't yell at me and say you're stupid or something like that. Okay? Deal. Alright. Going on to number 10. So, number 10 is New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Now, I know this game not a ton of people, enjoy. People think New Super Mario Bros. Series, the best one is the first one. I think this is by far the best one. I do think that the other ones are decent, but I do think this one's the best. I think the idea of porting the Wii U game, the Super Mario Bros. U, on the Switch was a great idea. I think the reason I don't want to put him any higher is because Nabbit is absolutely broken. Nabbit is literally the most broken thing ever. He just runs through, everything, and it doesn't even matter. There is basically no way you're gonna die if you're Nabbit. Unless if you're really, really bad, there is no way you're dying. So, I do think Nabbit is also kind of dragging it down, but I do still think that this is a very good game. And I do think it's underrated because it was on the Wii U, even though I think the Wii U is a great console. Some people would disagree with me on that, but, that's perfectly fine. Number 9, Super Mario Sunshine. Now, people put this lower and higher on their lists normally because it is a very good game. I think that why people put it so high is because it basically took Super Mario 64 and then just perfected it, if you get my meaning. I don't think that there is ever gonna be one of those Mario games where it's bad. I'm just telling you that right now. No Mario game is bad, in my opinion. All the ones that I've played, none of them are bad. So, I do think they're all pretty good. So that's also another thing to consider. I just think Super Mario Sunshine, compared to the games I put ahead of it, I do think it definitely has some flaws. Especially the fact that it was on 3D. All-Stars really was one of the main reasons I put it all the way up here, is because it's on 3D All-Stars, which I think is a big inspiration for me to play it more. I didn't think this might have been my second Mario game I ever played after the original. Maybe it was the first one, I don't remember. It was pretty early on. I did think this was a beautiful game, and then when I played another game, I'm like, oh. When I played Galaxy and Galaxy 2 and Odyssey, I'm like, okay. Still fun, just not as fun as the other ones. But of course, I do think that this is not the worst. I say this is not the worst 3D game, though. You will see later which one is the worst one in my opinion. Because this guy may be lowest on top 10, but one of them did not make it onto the top 10, and I'll explain that later, I'm hoping. Number 8, Super Mario Galaxy. Yeah, you heard me right. Super Mario Galaxy 1, not 2, 1. So basically what I did think was kind of weird about this one was that they really took Mario in a completely different direction. They kind of course Peach got kidnapped again, but then he went into space. Somehow he got launched into space, and he has to fight. I can't remember if this is the first or second one. Bowser is in a hot tub, and Mario has to fight Bowser in a hot tub. I don't remember if that's the first or second one, but I do think that level's pretty cool. I do think they did take things a little bit harsh on Galaxy. Some people do, because some people think it is like one of the worst. Some people think it's like the best, and I'm kind of in the middle. I don't say it's not bad. It's not bad by a mile. It's not bad. But is it the best? No. I do think, though, it is a really solid game. And I really do think that it is very underrated. I do think it was better on the Wii than it is on Switch, which I know is kind of a pain because I know a lot of people really do like it on Switch. But I do think that it's harder to play on Switch, I would say. So I would much rather play it on Wii than Switch, if you get my meaning. Next up, number 7, Luigi's Mansion 3. First off, I think this is the best looking Mario game to this day, if I'm saying how I said at the beginning. I do think Luigi Mansion 3, I really do like. I think that it almost is exactly what you would want from Luigi's Mansion. If you're a Luigi's Mansion fan, I suggest playing this. If you're a Luigi's Mansion fan and that's the only thing you like this Mario, this would probably be number 1. You like other games that are Mario, but if you like Luigi Mansion the best, that series the best, this will probably be your number 1. Because this basically took the original in Dark Moon, polished it, took what they had, used it all again, and then added more. It just is just a great game. Luigi's Mansion 3 was just a blast to play. I did think that at the beginning, when I first played it, I was so impressed with how good it looked. Like, so impressed with how good it looked. Like, I felt like there is no way that they can make any game look better than that. And after that, I haven't seen a game that has been released on Switch yet that has looked better than that. I think that is the best looking Mario game out right now. Because it just looks so good. And then, I do like the story as well. I think the idea of not just Mario getting kidnapped, but Peach and Toads also getting kidnapped, I really do like that idea as well. I think that it's a very cute story. I think that the only thing I would say that brings it from being higher, for me at least, is because of how hard and long it can be. You know, you could, in theory, you could, if you were a speedrunner, there is an entire way to skip the entire game and get to the final boss. There is a way to do that. I figured it out by accident, and then I just plopped back down. But I'm not going to ever share that because I don't want Nintendo to stop it. Because I might want to do speedrun at some point. Just for my own fun. But, okay. Luigi's Mansion 3, I think, is very buggy a little bit, too. I think that's mainly due because they made it look so good. They weren't really focusing on how many glitches they had caused, trying to make it look good. So I think that might have some sort of effect on it. But don't get me wrong, Luigi's Mansion 3 is a great game. I could switch this with the game ahead of it and be happy still, because I think these two are very close. I could put either of them above the other, and I'll be happy. Next game, Super Mario Sluggers. Now, this is my favorite Mario sports game. I think that this is almost exactly what you would want from Mario Baseball. It's Mario Baseball, like. And then the stat, like everyone has different stats. There is 4 different stats: pitching, hitting, fielding, and running. And like, certain characters help certain people's playstyles. So like if you like having a lot of fast rather than strong, you'll maybe like the babies a little, like the babies a little more than like Bowser and King K, or like really slow, I think that depending on your playstyle, this game could go very different directions opinion-wise, like who's the best character, who's the worst character. Depending on your playstyle, that could change very easily. A lot of people say the babies are terrible, but there are some people who think the babies are some of the best characters in the game, because their playstyle is very fast characters rather than worrying about the heavy hitters, which is where most people put heavy hitters, in the middle or really high normally. But some put them really low because they like fast, because fast can get you more runs in a way, but also strong hitting. It really depends on your playstyle. This game can be one of the worst Mario games as well, because based off the fact that they haven't released a new one, which I'm really disappointed to see, because I was really hoping they would release on Switch. I'm hoping they do soon. They've released a new golf, a new tennis, a new soccer. They just haven't released a new baseball. I'm really hoping that comes out soon, but we'll just have to see. Next up, number 5. This one's gonna give me a lot of hate. Super Mario Odyssey. Yes, Super Mario Odyssey is not my favorite Mario game. In fact, it's not even my favorite 3D Mario game, like of the main kind of 3D Mario games, if you get my meaning, like the 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, Galaxy 2, and Odyssey. It's not, but it's not my favorite. There's one that's higher. But I say that this is a really fun game though, because this and the next one I could switch. They're even to me, so this could be number 4 as well, in a way. So, but I do think Super Mario Odyssey has a lot of changes made, because they kind of use 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, and Galaxy 2, and then just polished them, changed mechanics by adding Cappy, which I really do like the Cappy mechanic. I will admit, I do think I like Flood more, but then I would probably say Cappy, because Cappy is super helpful. He can capture targets, and then you can use those targets to get certain moons better, easier, if you get my meaning. But I think the issue is that there's so many moons in that game. There's 999 moons. And I feel like every time you collect a moon, it's like, yay, let's go, we got a moon. But after you beat the game and are just trying to collect all the moons don't feel nearly as special. Where like in 64, you kind of grab one, and then you're like, oh yeah. And then you are like out of there. Same with like Sunshine and Galaxy as well. I do think that maybe Mario Odyssey should have gone a little bit, maybe not made it as open world as it is. Maybe should have. I think I like the idea of it being open world, but I think they made it too open world, for me at least, because there's so much to do where like, how many people are going to 100% the game? Because it can take forever to 100% this game, and I don't know who would want to. I'm sure there's plenty of people who would, but I don't know anyone who would want to just 100% that game because they love it that much. If you get my meaning, because it's like so long to get every moon and 100% everything. So I'm not into 100%. I'm not 100% completionist, but things can work out. Number 4, this is the interchangeable Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Party. Now, I say this is the best Mario Party game. I really like the old ones, but I really like the character selection with this one, is the thing. I really like the character selection with this, because I do think that Super Mario Party has the biggest character selection of being 20 characters. Having 10 evil and 10 good characters, and it's a huge roster, and I do think that this is a very fun game. It really is the best party game, Mario Party game for me, at least. So, well, for me at least, but I'm sure plenty of people are gonna disagree with me about it. I'm sorry for anyone who disagrees. But I would say that Super Mario Party is a very interesting style of game where everyone has the normal dice and then their own special dice, which is really interesting. I think that you can get my meaning. You can let me rephrase this. Sorry, I didn't prepare a script or anything. 1 second. So as I was saying, Super Mario Party is a very good party game. It may only have like 4 boards, but it has so many modes. It has partner party, regular party, it has river survival, dance, and then they have an adventure mode, and then you just can play mini games and all that kind of stuff. And you can do like certain kind of competitions with the mini games, and it's just kind of fun. I do think that this is probably the best Mario Party game. Next up, number 3, Mario Galaxy 2. Now, Mario Galaxy 2, I think, is the best, one of like the main kind of 3D Mario games. If I had to say of just like 3D Mario in general, second best. I think that, like, just like in the entire series, like 3D, every game that has been 3D, like, that would be all the games I said, plus 3D World and 3D Land. I would say that this is the second best. But this, I think, is massive, in the massive direction. I do think that Odyssey was a downgrade from Galaxy 2, but I do think that they kind of forgot about Galaxy 2, which is, I would probably put this higher than the one I put above it if it was in 3D All-Stars. I don't care if it wouldn't be better, but like, Nintendo, they kind of forgot about it. Because in 3D All-Stars, the idea was to bring all the 3D games back. And of course, 3D Land, not in there. Mario Galaxy 2, not in there. You know? They're just not there. And I feel like that's because Nintendo's forgot about them. And I feel like that's a little bit hurtful to me, to think that Nintendo has forgotten about the sequel to one of their best-selling 3D Mario games. And that sequel was amazing. It added Yoshi. First off, that's extra points because it added Yoshi. Extra points for Yoshi. But you can also replay the entire game as Luigi. And I do think that is kind of fun because, like, he kind of has different things where he can jump higher, of course. That's how it works in pretty much every Mario game. That Mario and Luigi are. Luigi always is the one that jumps the highest. I do think that, I feel like the reason I don't put this as number 2 is because it's not on 3D All-Stars. But I could put it at number 2 if I really wanted to. I have the dignity to say that I could go in, number 2 as well. I do think it was an amazing game. I don't think there was anything wrong with that game. That game was just almost perfect Mario game. And I really wish they had remembered it and brought it to the Switch so I could know that so I knew Nintendo acknowledged how good of a game it was, but I don't think, or is, let me re-say that, is how good of a game it is, but I'm afraid they might have forgotten about it. Maybe they'll add it in a DLC for the 3D All-Stars game, but we'll just have to see. Number 2, Super Mario 3D World. Now, Super Mario 3D World is amazing. That's all I have to say about it. It's just amazing. I feel like if there was one game, out of the mainline Mario games, I would say this is the best one. So I think that this is a very good game where there's not a ton to it, but there is also not a little to it, if you get what I mean. Like, if the game added the Catsuit, which is probably my favorite power-up, in my opinion at least, because it allows you to climb up walls and everything. And this is the second time, I believe, that they brought Peach, Toad, Luigi, and Mario, all as playable characters. And Rosalina! First time in a mainline Mario game, and only time right now, to be playable. Which is pretty insane to think about that. And they all have their own abilities. Mario's so all around, Luigi can jump higher, but also picks up speed slower, I'm pretty sure is what it is. No, I think... What do you think? Luigi jumps high. Okay, I'm just gonna say the positive because I don't know the negative. He jumps higher. Blue Toad runs faster. Peach can float, which is pretty insane to be honest. And Roy can attack without a power-up as a baby. As a baby, she can attack without having to jump on their head. That is just straight up broken. But I would say that these guys are all really good characters. There's no, bad character. They're all really good. I think that there's a lot of potential for making a sequel to this game because this game has... I think the reason that this game was not bought that much was because it was on the Wii U, which a lot of people didn't like the Wii U that much. Or didn't purchase the Wii U because they already had a Wii, so they didn't think there was a reason to buy the Wii U, but there were some games on the Wii U. I maybe want to do one of those at some point, but we'll see. I do think that there is a lot that I want to do. There is a lot of things that definitely stop it from being the number 1 on this list, but I do think that it is a very, very good game, and I don't think that it deserves to be any lower than number 2, possibly number 3, but I don't think any lower than top 3 for me. Now for some honorable mentions that sadly were not able to make it on this list, but we're awfully close to making it on this list. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Great game. Just, the reason it didn't make it on here is mainly due to the fact that Luigi's Mansion 3 exists. If it didn't, I think Dark Moon might have made it on here. I think that was going to be my next number 11 for me. The rest of these I didn't think about in their order because the rest of these games I do really think are pretty good. Another honorable mention is Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64 is a great game. It started the 3D games in the mainline Mario. I do think that it deserves honorable mention for that reason. I don't think it was very close to getting to the top, but I do think it's an honorable mention because it is probably one of the most important Mario games. And if we didn't have that, we might not have had Sunshine Galaxy, Galaxy 2, Odyssey, or 3D World. So, thank you to Super Mario 64 for giving us that 3D Mario. Mario Party Superstars, second best Mario Party, I would say. Lower character roster is really what brought it down for me off this list, but it was still a very good game. Don't have a lot to say about these honorable mentions. All the Mario Maker 1 and Mario Maker 2 also got close to making on this list. I would have put them together because I have basically the same thing. I would say that because they rank the same because Mario Maker 1 is easier to make levels. Mario Maker 2 has more options to make levels, if you get what I mean. So I would put them about the same. So I'd say that there's a lot of things they could have done better to both games, but got really close to making it on this list. And of course, an honorable mention to the one that started all, Super Mario Bros. The original. number one, whatever you want to call it. This game is just perfect. Like, it's almost a perfect beginning to this series. Like, it almost is the best 2D Mario for me. It is really good. It is a really good game. There just are too many games out there that are better, but this is a honorable mention because none of these games would have happened without this one. And I might not even have had any games right now if that didn't exist, because the gaming industry was in huge trouble by then, at that point. But when that game came out, that was the savior of the gaming industry. So we might not have had any video games without that game. So salute to you, Mario Bros. 1. Great game at the time. Still a great game today. Just there are betters. Super Mario Bros. 2 as well. Not Lost Levels, just 2. I do think that that's very underrated. I do think that is a very fun game. I really enjoy it. I think it's very interesting. This is the first time Peach, Toad, Luigi, and Mario all appeared in the same game, which I thought was pretty cool. And they didn't really bring that back for a while until 3D World was the next time it happened, which I thought was kind of weird that they never brought that back. Super Mario World as well. Probably the best 2D Mario game, tied with Super Mario Bros. 2. I think that those two are just... I think Super Mario World brought Yoshi first off, so that gives it extra points. But I think that it is a very fun game. I don't think it belonged up here, but it could have. It really could have if some of these other games didn't exist, but yeah. They do, so... But it is still pretty good. Next up, Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story. Yes, that's my favorite Mario and Luigi RPG. I'd say that Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story is a great game, in fact. I think that this game is probably the closest to being on this list. I really do think that I was very close to putting this on the list. I was very debating on how I would have fit this because I thought the rest of these. I could have put New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe off the list and put that there, and I would have been perfectly fine, but, you know, it almost made it on there, but just not quite able to. It's a really great game. Check it out if you like RPGs. And if you see all my videos on my channel, you should have saw this top one comment. Number 1, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. This game is what my definition of perfect RPG. Because literally there is nothing wrong with this RPG. Because it's Mario. First off, it's Mario, so how can it counts as a Mario game. Okay. Mario crossover, at least. Like I listed at the beginning. I do think that this game is massively underrated. This game is hugely fun for me. I think that this is probably the best Switch game as well. Maybe even possibly top 5 favorite games of all time is where this could go, to be honest. Maybe even number 1 game of all time. I have no idea. But for now, at least, because I'm sure the sequel is going to prove better. Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle is basically a super cool RPG. You have 3 actions you can perform, 1 technique. You have 2 main actions that you can use every turn. Attack and move. And then you also have you have 2 weapons and a movement action. You can pick one of those weapons to use and move every single turn. You also have 2 additional techniques that have cooldowns, so you have to use them sparingly, and then you have to wait the cooldown to use that ability again. But still, they can be really great abilities, so makes sense they have cooldowns. So you can't just use them every single turn, otherwise that would be broken. But I would say that this game is super fun. Luigi is absolutely broken. The other characters are good too. This game, if you like Mario RPGs, This and Inside Story are like the perfect Mario RPGs you want to be looking at. You want to look at these guys. That's what you guys want to look at. Then, after that, after you play that, if you're a Rabbids fan, play this as well. If you're a Rabbids, or if you're an RPG guy, like you like Fire Emblem, and you like the Mario games, you're going to love Mario & Rabbids and Bowser's Inside, Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. You're going to love Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle Rabbids fans that are also fans of like Fire Emblem. You're going to love Mario & Rabbids. Mario & Rabbids is almost perfect for any Mario and Rabbids fan that is also a fan of the RPG style. So I don't see why you would never want to play this game if you're a fan of the RPG style and a fan of Mario or Rabbids, or even if you're just a fan of the RPG style. This could be still a great game for you. If you're a fan of the RPG style, this could be really fun. So I would say any RPG fan out there, play this game. Costs $60. I really don't think it belongs to $60. I think it belongs to like $200. Like it belongs to $200. It's like a perfect game. You're not here to say that, Nintendo. So yeah, I do think that these is my list. Comment down below what you guys would change. What would you stay the same? What do you agree? What do you disagree with me with? 5 likes on this video, and we will make a top 10 Switch games. And that's gonna be even tougher, bro. That's literally gonna be even tougher. But still, thank you guys for watching this video. Please leave a like if you did enjoy it. Please hit the subscribe button. Bye-bye.